Video games as an art form? I've always cringed at the notion myself, slightly narrow-minded maybe, but when we were younger, games were cool, fun, and something to enjoy, while art was serious, highbrow, and required work on the viewer's side. But why are we talking about this? Well, The Last of Us 2 is here, the culmination of 7 years of blood, sweat, and tears from Neil Druckmann and the team at Naughty Dog. And for us, if there is a conversation about games as art, then this is the game that puts that conversation to bed and kisses it gently goodnight. And if that seems like a bit of a tender image for such a violent game, then The Last of Us 2 does actually punctuate its frequent horror and violence with lots of moments of real human tenderness that elevates the medium to a whole new level. The Last of Us 2 is a labor of love that challenges you again and again, dragging you along through a blood-soaked in-game world with three-dimensional characters whose fate you truly care about. Don't worry, we're going to stay away from spoilers in this video, though if you've yet to play it, we would recommend that you hurry up, as frankly the internet is a nightmare for plot points right now. Even from the first time you see the main menu, the tone is set. A single rowboat bobs around on the water ominously in what feels like maybe a reference to Children of Men, and there's a sense of dread that sets the mood for the game about to unfold. The combat, along with everything else, has been improved since The Last of Us 1, with greater enemy AI creating more tension than was possible before. Now, when you dispatch human enemies in one of the many gory ways the game offers up, they react as you imagine real people would. Each death means something in this game, and the more damage you cause, the more determined enemies are to find you. The game offers you multiple ways to tackle situations, whether that be sneaking into a building and systematically taking out enemies, or breaking through a window and going in guns blazing, or even avoiding confrontation completely. Though fundamentally the gameplay itself is the same as the first, I personally don't consider that to be a bad thing. The combat is an improved version of the same thing as before, and yes, like before, it's a journey-based plot. In essence, it does have to be said that this is a stealth action-adventure game, much like most of Naughty Dog's output thus far. So yes, gameplay is mostly the same, but it feels natural and familiar if you played the previous game, which allows you to immerse yourself in the story and the world that Naughty Dog have created for us. We won't spoil too much for you, as this truly is a game that you have to experience for yourself. The game allows you to create story moments that will stay with you long after you've shut down your PlayStation. One scene that springs to mind is Ellie and Dina exploring their way through an abandoned subway when they encounter both human enemies and clickers illuminated only by the flares of the searching party. It's a level of tension that is unparalleled in almost any other game that we can think of on this generation's consoles. The game shows characters that we know and love in multiple shades. There are complex characters who aren't necessarily good or bad, but just trying to survive. This leads to a gaming experience that often makes you question your actions and the morality behind them as you play. The Last of Us uses so many small details to help build a world that feels lived in and truly alive. In the middle of a casual conversation between Dina and Ellie when they're on their way to Seattle, one asks the other,
"How old were you when you first killed someone?"
These words, said so off the cuff and so casually, really speak to the overarching narrative of the game as we follow Ellie's development in this cutthroat world. From the opening scene where Ellie packs her bags to go on patrol and she packs a handgun like she was a kid getting ready to go to school, to the way Ellie confidently disassembles guns at the crafting benches, The Last of Us 2 constantly shows us Ellie's progression as a character from a young, scared child in the first installment to the battle-hardened killer that we see now. Everything in this game feels intertwined. The Last of Us 2 has that same reverence for the art form and attention to detail, and it's often the little things, Joel or Ellie shielding their eyes from the sun, the way the tall grass sways, or the way the snow crunches underfoot. The visuals of this game assist with the narrative experience at every step of the way. There are multiple times when the game stunned me with its visuals. At times it feels less like a game and more like an art piece with its composition and choice of colors. As beautiful as those lush areas of the game world are, dark, gritty, dilapidated, abandoned towns are everywhere that you turn and are just as much fun to explore and get stuck into. You never know what's around the corner, and the game toys with you constantly, giving you lush, beautiful vistas, destroyed towns, and keeping you on a pendulum of emotion between awe and fear. Being so immersive with such attention to detail is definitely amazing, but the trap that you set for yourself when you operate on that level is that any inconsistency or quirk just seems that much bigger. One thing that really bugged me on many occasions is that my character would spend a lot of time not necessarily facing in exactly the right direction and then kind of skating in the way that I wanted to go. Ducking behind cover facing the edge of a wall, Ellie would often be facing the wrong way as I track an enemy's movements in the room or area ahead. It must be said that the game is a joy to play, but it is still a Naughty Dog game in the same vein as Uncharted and the first Last of Us. In that respect, if you're looking for something more, there is a chance that you're going to be disappointed. Where this game shines is the narrative and the story and the craft of the game. If you're looking for an easy, fun experience, this maybe is not the game for you. For me, Last of Us 2 is the game of a generation. I am consistently blown away by how strong this game is from the ground up. Every aspect of it has been thought out so well, and I am immersed at every step of the way. This game is not a new game in many respects. We've played this style of a game before. What does it bring to the table that's new in that respect? Yeah, there's an argument to say not that much, but this is about games as an art form. They have answered that question because this is a work of art. The narrative is incredible and you are invested and you care about the characters in a way that I haven't really experienced in many other games in the past. This game for me is instantly into my top 5 of all time, and I think you're going to love it. Thanks for watching. We'd love to know what you think in the comments. If you liked it, drop us a like and subscribe to see more content like this. See you next time.